Welcome to Over the Line, the football debate show by fans for fans. My name is Dave, and joining me today we have Arsenal fan Kunle and closet Arsenal fan Cyril. Gents, welcome. How are we?
Was it what? Nah, bro. Man,
Ah,
anything than that, than Arsenal. Anything. Any,
How are we, gents? We all good?
we're good. We're
yeah, all
good.
good, all
Yeah,
good.
good to see.
Congratulations on winning the we beat.
you you started early today, Cyril. Right. Let's get into the results from the weekend. So starting off Saturday, we had Brentford beating Burnley 3-1. Igor Thiago with another couple of goals there. Great result for my fantasy football team. We had Man City going hell for leather with Leeds, winning 3-2, going two up, and then being pegged back by Leeds. Late Phil Foden goal there in injury time to give City the victory. Sunderland beat Bournemouth 3-2. I believe they came back from two goals down in that match. Everton lost 4-1 at home to Newcastle. Uh, and then to end off on the Saturday results, saw Tottenham lose at home to Fulham. Spurs doing Spursy things, we see. On to the next day, the Sunday results, we saw Crystal Palace go 1 up against Manchester United, only to lose 2-1. Aston Villa beat Wolves 1-0. Nottingham Forest lost at home 2-0 to Brighton. Liverpool finally get 3 points on the table, beating West Ham 2-0 away from home. And in the final game of the weekend, saw a battle at the bridge with Chelsea drawing 1-1 with Arsenal. And that's where we're going to start today. We're going to come to you first, Kunle. On the on the face of things, a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge is never a bad result. However, in the context of the game, Chelsea being down to 10 men for longer than 50% of the game, do you see this more as a point gained or 2 points dropped?
I'll say in the context of the game, you have to say 2 points dropped because more of once a team goes down to 10 men, you have the advantage. You can't try and sugarcoat it any other way. You've got the advantage now, and that's usually it's your time to know. Put your foot on the neck, as they say. But I just felt even before I mean I say before the sending off, Chelsea were the better team.
Yeah,
They had more intensity. They seemed up for the fight. They were flying into the tackles, flying.
yeah,
But I think they played like they got a point to prove that we're no little man in this. We can go toe for toe, and yeah. So up until that point, yeah, we looked leggy. Our passes were off. It didn't help losing Saliba the night before, or in
mhm,
training, or whenever he got that knock. So I think Mascara and Nketiah are good defenders, but I don't think away from home is where you'd want to, have your first pair for your basically having them play together for the first time. I don't think away at Stamford Bridge is. If you're going to pick one of the grounds, I think those would be the ones you try and avoid, like that, St James's Park, Old Trafford. So if it was at home, I think it would have been a bit different, but away. So at times they struggled, and I think you noticed that the difference between obviously there's a difference in levels, but Saliba and Gabriel I think are more comfortable on the ball and
mhm,
coming out with it and then playing it into the front line and then we build from there. So yeah, the passing was a bit off. The ref didn't I don't think help because he was handing out yellows like it was Christmas cards,
mm,
and because he did it so early in the game on both sides. It just meant that obviously players then had to be a bit more careful about what they do. Um, so yeah, I mean, once they did get the sending off, then I thought, yeah, we're gonna take it from here and then just do what we need to do. But yeah, we just couldn't find that spark. So yeah, so when Chelsea scored from a corner, how ironic. I think obviously, and he made them have to, you know, kick into gear, and then we got the equalizer. And but yeah, the game just didn't seem controlled. If you didn't know what happened in the first half and so someone fresh just started watching the second half, I don't think they would have known that Chelsea were down to 10. And I
mm,
think that's not a good look on Arsenal. Usually you should know when a team's down to 10 because they can't come out, they just camped, trying
yeah,
to survive. But I think Chelsea, credit to Maresca as well, because most teams once they go down to 10, they just go into their shell. But he was like, no, we're still going to put people up there. And I think even he was brave. I think we had a corner in the 70th minute and they
mhm,
put 3 men up front.
yeah.
which obviously people have. I think Monaco were the first to ever do it. So yeah, that's brave again. But obviously it helps when there's no Saliba or Gabriel, because I can't really see them doing that if Gabriel was there. But yeah, overall, in the context of the game, I would say it's 2 points dropped. But in the context of the week we've had, like I said, if you had given me what do you think the results would be, or what would you take, it would have been beat Spurs, beat Bayern, and then draw away to Chelsea, which that's what's come about. Just the context of how it happened is different. But yeah, we move, man. It's going to be it's going to be up and downs. Like I always laughed the reactions when Arsenal. It's one of those we don't lose often. So now the sensationalized like sort of agendas now run when we draw, which is so funny to me because we don't lose often. So you have to obviously the rivals they got to get their meat somehow. They got to get their feed. So anything like, oh my god, you drew with 10 men, you fumbled. It's like okay, but our gap with Chelsea still the same, and obviously City are now 5 points behind instead of 7 before. But again, even from watching City, I saw how they defended 2-0 up at Leeds. If that was a better team than Leeds, they could have dropped points themselves. So it's going to go up and down. We're all going to get our chance. We're all going to get our time in the light where people will be like, critiquing our credentials, because people have done it to City. When they lost to Villa, everyone's like, oh my god, they're out. And then out of nowhere, they've moved back. Even Liverpool, as bad as they've been, they only actually 9 points behind us.
9 points,
which is not a crazy gap because their run is more favorable than ours, and even City's run is more favorable than ours. So everyone's going to get their time. So for us, to just keep on winning, just try and keep on winning. Brentford next, collect 3 points, and then we keep it moving.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like when you look at the fixtures, especially in the first half of the season, like I think everyone in terms of our rivals, be it Liverpool, City, United, whoever, Chelsea, they've had a more favourable fixture. The way it's kind of laid out, the fixtures have been more favourable for them. Because if you look at what we've done, we've gone to Old Trafford, we've gone to Anfield, we've gone to St James's Park, we've gone to Stamford Bridge, and then we've had City and Tottenham at home. I'm not too sure that there's anybody else who can say that they've been to these many big away grounds as we have done. So in the second half of the season, they're now going to have to start doing that while we're bringing these teams to our ground. So yeah, we don't lose often. Nobody's going to go for the rest of the season unbeaten. Points will be dropped, but I think in the context of the match, yes, it's 2 points dropped. But I'm the same as you. Had you offered me 2 wins and a draw before the week had started, I would have taken that because I was more of the line that we'd beat Tottenham, we'd lose to Bayern, and then we'd probably draw at the Bridge. So we're actually in a better position than what I sort of had anticipated myself. It's just when you're playing 10 men, you kind of do want the points there. But Liverpool are going to drop points, City are going to drop points, Chelsea are going to drop points, we're going to drop points. It's just a matter of taking it one game at a time, game by game. Treat every game like a cup final, and let's see where we are come the end of the season. Cyril, let's bring you in. What was your thoughts on the game and what you saw, and what would you think that means in terms of the wider context of the title race?
Yeah, so first thing I want to put on record, it's not for everyone to beat a 10-man Chelsea team, is it? Not every team can do that, but anyway, we move. So,
no, but you literally lost to 10 men a week ago.
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about Chelsea, my guy. I'm talking about Chelsea. But anyway, it's what it is. But yeah, so now I think, look, I agree with Kunle, specifically on the point of a draw is now scrutinized. I get if it was a loss, but a draw is now scrutinized. And so it is one of those situations where I think all kudos to Arsenal, like going so many games unbeaten. Of course, if you're in that title race, in that title winning season, some of these games, for example, like, Sunday, you want to take advantage when you can take advantage. And that's a perfect time to have taken advantage. and seeing how you guys played against Bayern in the second half of that game. I think what happens is that you start performing at a standard that people now start expecting you to be operating at that standard consistently. And if it's dropped, then obviously it's questioned, but then also we kind of remember the old version of Arsenal. So we're like, is this potentially going to creep back in? And so ultimately, every fan that's not an Arsenal fan is almost waiting for Arsenal, for the wheels to fall off the bus, And it has been traditionally, you have led. It's not the first time you've led, going into the Christmas period or in January, and then things didn't quite go to plan. And this is not so. This year looks a little bit more secure and a lot more, more, if you could say, certain than other seasons. But at the same time, it's football. I think where some of your certain fans who are not on the call today, like so certain that no other team can come, no other team can look. Injuries can happen. No one expected, the Saliba injury to happen, and it could be somebody else that happens, or someone, a key player that happens, and then suddenly, teams take advantage of that, and things look different. So, whereby from looking at on paper or on the eye test or whatever, it seems like it's Arsenal's season. At the same time, it's football, and so nothing's won in this time of the year, and I think that's the part where certain fans talking like, nah, nothing else can happen. This is just a given now that it's Arsenal's title. That's where, if it doesn't become Arsenal's title, good luck to those fans. Good luck to those fans. That's all I'm saying. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, obviously we all know you're referencing Gav here, who isn't. He's not. Unfortunately, he's not on the call today, but I'm sure he will have a response to that when he is next on. So in the you're the resident outsider for this episode, so I'm going to come to you with this question then. So based on what you have seen and the reaction that you have heard from the haters of Arsenal in the wider media, the clickbait videos, this, that, and the other, they are now beginning to question the wheels coming off. It's an open race again, this, that, and the other. In the context of the title race and what you expect and what you have seen, as an outsider, what is your impression of this Arsenal team versus, say, Liverpool, City? Can they come back? Will they come back? Can Chelsea challenge? What's your opinion? Can United challenge even?
Hey, we ain't involved in this. Just leave it to the big boys. We're just kind of just stay.
Glad you said it.
Relegation, as long as we're above relegation, we're not doing a relegation battle, top 17 and all that, that's all we care about right now. But here's the thing. I think that Arsenal look like clear favourites. However, I believe, again, I keep on saying this, it's football. Yes, Liverpool have had their stupidness go on or whatever, but they're still the champions, and they've not played well. And there was certain times where they found a way to win. Last season, obviously last season there were certain people that was firing. I think one part of it is when Arsenal fans are saying like, oh well, when our players come back and start, firing at all cylinders and stuff like that, da. But then what about Mo Salah? I can't expect that for the whole season. He continues having this season that he's having right now. Same thing, with Ishak. I can't see him, continue to have the season he's actually having right now. So when that, or if that kicks in, we gotta be, paying attention to that. Now we talk about City. Look at Foden. He was a bit, off. It was a bit whatever. He's not beginning to come back on track or whatever. And so it takes one player to start doing that, and then somebody else starts doing that in the team or whatever else. You run on a couple of runs or forms. Like if you look at Chelsea, I think Chelsea played the way they played against you lot because of the game against Barcelona. I think if they didn't do what they did to Barcelona, I don't think they come to see you guys the way they came to see you guys. They played like, actually, respect us, put some respect on our name. And obviously, that's what probably led to the sending off as well, because they were that hyped up or whatever. And when you think about it, if you were to look at the intensity of the two sides, Chelsea showed more intensity in that regard. So that's why I'm like, look, Arsenal clear favourites for obvious reasons, but I just don't think every team is going to be as bad as they have been so far. And I feel like some of them will go on a run of form. And the couple of things that I keep on saying, regardless of people saying, oh, yeah, but it's not the same team of whatever. When a team has had the ability to be able to win titles or trophies, there's a certain kind of things that you're able to do to be able to win those games. So, for example, those draws that you had, and that's why I respect Arsenal in terms of the games where, like the Chelsea game, I don't care what people are saying, you didn't lose. So just win, even at Old Trafford. I think that Old Trafford game there, I didn't think you guys played as good as we did. But end of the day, you came away with the points. Move on. Like those points just stack up again and again and again. So when people are talking about whatever they're talking, you've probably heard me say, don't care how you win, just win. I don't care if it was a penalty. I don't care if it was headings or set pieces or whatever it is. When Chelsea scored that set piece, if they won, do you think people would have been like, oh, well, they scored a set piece, that's the reason why they won? Of course not. So I see past that rubbish that people talk about the set piece FC, although it's quite funny. I see past all of that stuff there. But I just think don't count out those other teams there as much as certain man are like, nah, their team is this and trying to find weaknesses in their team and stuff like that. Their team can still get better. And I can't foresee that Salah's going to stay the way he is because it's a terrible season for him. And once he starts firing, guys, you know what that means when Salah is firing. And Ishak as well, boys. Like, come on, man. I think let's not go away the narratives for either team, whether it's the Chelsea team or not Chelsea, whether it's you guys, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's City. Let's not run away with the narratives. Like, let's think about what could happen if other teams started doing what they need to do as well.
I hear what you're saying, right? But on the Salah front, he's been this bad for nearly a year now. It's basically the second half of last season and then carrying on into this season. He's been this way. Coincidentally, ever since he signed his new contract.
Always happens.
So do you see Salah coming back to form, or are you kind of just hoping against hope here?
I like Salah, so I want to see here. I want it to be more competitive. I want it to be a competitive season. I don't want no team to run away with it.
I don't want competitive.
we don't. But I still think it. Like I said before, that's why the whole when we drew Sunderland and everyone was getting all giddy. I was like, everyone's going to drop points, and literally the next day, both teams drop points. So I think it's still. That's why I said I don't think it won't go down to the last day, but it's not going to be like game week 30. It's all over. But you can't win the title in November, December, but you can lose it. So all it is when you get into the January, February, we just be in the mix. And it is right, obviously, in terms of Liverpool, they can't get any worse. At some point, they're going to improve, but so can we. Because everyone seems to forget, going forward, we're not actually that great yet. It's not flowing. It's not fluid. It's just rigid. Some games we turn it on. It's very rigid. Some games we turn it on. Some games we don't. Some games we rely on set pieces. It's actually ironic because Man United are now tied with us under goals from set pieces. So welcome to the club. And Chelsea are literally second behind all of us. So yeah, set pieces is only a problem when it happens against you. But when teams get it, no one complains.
I think here's why I think. Okay, I don't think there's any issues with people getting set pieces. I feel like there was times where Arsenal seemed to just really look like they were just relying on their goals to come from that. And so I don't think it's wrong to get set pieces. I just think it just seemed like there was an over reliance on that, and that's something that even Arsenal fans, if they're honest, can say they were.
It wasn't. I wouldn't even say it was a reliance, but what it is, when teams come to play Arsenal now, the low block is so low that it's very hard to play. Everyone wants open, expensive football, but it's like, how do you play open, expensive football if only one team has come to play football?
Exactly.
So when you have the deepest blocks, you're not going to be able to break between the lines, passes, because there's 10 men behind the ball. So you have to find another way, and that's what we're doing. And then when teams try to open up, for example, Atletico Madrid, they came, did a low block, we scored with a set piece, so they had to come out. As soon as they come out, we beat them 4-0. So the whole we rely on it, I get it what people are trying to say, but it wasn't a reliance. It's just that if teams were sitting so deep, we had to find another way to score, and that was it.
But my question to you is this then: how then do you explain that with United? Because
What?
do teams sit low with United?
No, you're just rubbish.
No. So but I'm saying we've got those set pieces or whatever else, but I'm saying it's not like it's an over reliance on that stuff.
No, but what I'm saying, yeah, but the reason why, but if people, it's like when, for example, okay, it's like when people try to compare Bowen to Saka, they were like, oh, if Bowen was in Arsenal, he would get the same amount of goals as Saka, but Bowen doesn't face low blocks because when people play West Ham, they're not staying camping on the edge of their area. They're trying to kill them in attack, so they get this. Bowen gets the space to operate. I think that's where, and with United, you're not even reliant on set pieces. You score more from set pieces because Xerxes couldn't hit a barn door until this weekend, and Sesko doesn't know where his right is from his left. So you get the chances, you just used to miss them, and then you end up scoring from a set piece. So, and we don't even get the chances to get those shots on goal because everyone's behind the ball. It's already been shown that we face the lowest block in the lowest line in the Prem, while our because everyone says we play like Stoke, but our defense is actually the highest in the Prem. So how can we play like Stoke? So I don't know. It's all swings. I don't care if we win every game by set piece all the way to the end. I don't care. It's just what people try to use, which is why I laugh. I don't even. A lot of things comes in the group. I don't even respond, but some of them are so foolish. Even like the one that came in today, the Saka one, where he says he didn't have an assist from November 24 to November 25. It discounts the 4 months he was out of the picture and couldn't play football. It discounts where the season actually ended and we had the summer. So they just put it, because obviously it looks good when you put November to November. Like, oh my God, it's been a year. But actually look at the year and you see for 5 of those months, he wasn't actually able to kick a football. And for 1 of those months, the season was over.
And also at the start of the season, he got injured as well and was missing.
Yeah, he got injured again.
Days.
He missed another month. So, but it's all narrative. And then people got to do what they got to do. Like people got mouths to feed, so you got to get them clicks in whichever way you can. Yeah. But it's football has always been about winning the game. Remember when Man City used to play the beautiful football, and then people actually started to say, "Oh, I'm bored watching City. All they do is pass." So now it's, "Oh, I'm bored of Arsenal. All they do is score set piece. So what do people want? Whichever way it goes, people will have something to moan about. And the only way to shut people up is just to win something, and then we move on from there. So,
but then even when we do that, it's not going to be good enough because you've got to do it unbeaten, playing 5 men, 5 red cards at the start of the game, and then you're not allowed to score any set pieces. You can't score with your foot. You can't score there's always going to be something else that somebody else brings in. It's just all nonsense.
Yeah, but that's how social media works. It's not it's not done in where people are doing it with genuine thought. They do what can I get the most clicks from? Because they say set piece FC, but we went through like 3 or 4 games where we were battering teams and we didn't score 1 set piece, but it was never mentioned. But as soon as we score set piece, set piece FC again. It's like, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. They don't. At the end of the day, I've watched the Premier League for however many seasons, and the reality of it is this: just fucking win, just get the points on. It doesn't matter how you win. That's what I've always known. You can say it was the most boring. Okay, perfect example. Okay, Spurs United Europa League final. Okay, we know what everyone said about the game. But at the end of the game, there was a team that came away with a trophy. And guess what? Would it be on the trophy? It was the most boring, game ever, final ever. No, it's just be a title that they can forever talk about, and that's all that matters. So
that's what that matters indeed. Yeah, I agree. But let's move on to United then. So you guys, you beat Crystal Palace away from home, a ground where many teams have done and will continue to go there and lose. You guys went 1-0 down, you came back, you got the result. A lot of people will say, Palace are looking leggy because the fixtures are catching up with them, the European campaign, this, that, and the other. Glasner has even said that he's not really happy with the way that the team has sort of decided to not really invest, because when you're in a European campaign, you invest and reinforce the squad. They didn't really do that. However, put all in that to one side. 3 points in the bag for United. Give us your reaction, Cyril, to that game.
I think time and time again throughout the season, we've gone behind in a game. And last season, when we went behind in a game, we know what the results were. we were losing that game. At best, drawing that game. This season, we have obviously drawn some of those games, but the most important thing is we also beginning to win some of those games as well. So I think that is the key part there. It's just small wins. Just take the small wins and keep on moving to the next game. To be a goal down in their ground first half, to then come back, and then obviously second half, like the second half, there was a clear difference. Like we were better. We did do what we needed to do. So I think, again, football is going to be like, oh yeah, but you know, it's so on and so on or whatever else. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points in. We keep it moving. Out of that, we've only lost one game out of our last 7 games or whatever. So again, you know,
Who was that to?
It was that to Everton, 10 men down. Yeah, you know, 10 men Everton. So for me, I know that that's not the standard of what we expect Manchester United to be, but I know it's not as bad as it was last season. And to be still, I think, you know, we've playing whatever we're playing. I think we're 3 points behind Chelsea or 4 points behind Chelsea or something. No, 3 points behind Chelsea, 4 points behind City. And we've been having all this stuff they've been talking to us. And, you know, one of the things that I'm just really annoyed with United with is that certain games that we should have won, if we'd won that, we'd be comfortably sitting on second place. And that's why when we look at all the narratives that's out there, it's just one of those where you just got to just make sure that the team keeps on just doing what it's doing right now. Cunha been out. Even Sesko been out as well. You know, I think we've done decent trying to, you know, do without those. I think there was more energy this game than there was at the Old Trafford game itself. I think attacked a little bit better as well this game. Zexi played much better this game as well. So yes, you know, I have my you know thoughts on him, but end of the day, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. He wins the game. Mount came on, did his thing as well. So I think, you know, there's still more for us to do in terms of getting rid of some of the players that we actually have. You know, but in the meantime, we just keep on just putting points on the table. You know, finishing. You know, we're 6th right now, or 7th or whatever it is. You know, 7th right now. Just keep moving forward, man. Keep moving forward.
Are you back in the title race?
We're not in no title race. The thing is, though, do you know what's crazy, though? Here's the thing. Here's what's crazy, though. Anyone could be in the title race, per se. Any of the top 8 can be in the title race. Because Liverpool win a couple more games. United lose a game. You know, like, you see how from, like, I think we were 8th or something like that, or whatever, 10th or something. And if we'd won that game, we would have gone 2nd. Like, so right now, it's that kind of season where, as much as Arsenal are, I guess, you know, on the surface of things, having a better season than any other team right now, it's the kind of season where anyone can actually get it and anyone can actually do something. So the second half of the season is going to definitely be a lot different to the first half of the season. I don't think teams are going to be as bad as they have been so far. I think top of the teams, like just looking at that Chelsea match there, that game against Barcelona, what they did, I think played a big part in how they actually played against Arsenal. So I think going into that next game, they're going to go into that next game with that same level of confidence. And all they need to do is go on and run off, you know, games. Same thing with City. You know, a few more players start coming back, start banging and stuff like that. Now we have, you know, a real competitive, you know, title race. And I think, you know, Arsenal, as I've said already, are the ones that seem to actually have it. But one draw to, you know, one draw that Arsenal have, or 2 draws that Arsenal have, could put City, you know, right back at it, or even Chelsea back at it, depending on who's doing what. So United are doing what they need to do right now, which is just win a game. Obviously, let's go back on you know, another 5-game winning streak so we can get that guy to get his haircut. And hopefully it happens this season, you know. But for now, you know, let's do our thing. Let's keep on moving forward.
All right. Speaking of moving forward, let's move on to Liverpool then. Kunle, we'll come to you with this one. So they've gone and beaten West Ham 2-0 away from home. Okay. Isak finally gets a goal. Salah, surprisingly benched, didn't even come on. Have Liverpool turned the corner, or is it just West Ham?
I think it's both. Both can be true. Well, when I say that they haven't turned the corner because when they beat Villa and beat Real Madrid, they thought they'd turned the corner. So beating West Ham, you have to go on a run. That's when I'm talking like 3-4 games in a row of winning.
They've got the
Then you can
fixtures to do
say,
it. They've got the
and that's
fixtures
what I
to do it.
mean. They got the fixtures to do it, but they had the fixture and they started with Nottingham Forest, and we know how that went. So, and West Ham are actually bad. So I wouldn't use that as a measuring stick to say where they are. But considering the form that they had, they just had to win by any means. It didn't matter how it was done. Just get the 3 points, and which is what they did. The dropping of Salah, I don't think that was a surprise. Most Liverpool fans have been calling that for a while. Just to do something different. You can't. No one. It's a definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results, and that's sort of what Slot was doing.
You
Salah's been
bring him
stinking.
back in for the next match?
Me, technically, I'll say no. I'll say because whoever they did at West Ham, do it again. Then if it doesn't work, and then you've got Salah to come off the bench, maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs it where the game they're already winning. Then he can come on, so he doesn't feel that he has to try and do everything himself and spam crosses and try to shoot from ridiculous angles. But no, it's a good win. A win's a win, man. When you on the run they've been on, you just need some points on the board just to stop the rot. Because what they lost, was it like 6 in 7 or it was just 9 in 12? So it's just crazy numbers that you don't usually associate with Liverpool. So I'm sure they've taken the ball coming off someone's arse. They don't give a damn. Just get the 3 points. So yeah, I would say they've turned the corner, but they've got the fixtures they have. They can put a run together, which can. I would say, yeah, I think it can put in the title race because I think similar to what Cyril said, because the league is so tight, you just have to win a couple of games in a row, and it literally can just you fly up the table because they are 9 points behind us now, and but it's all about how you exactly, and they're in 8th from first, so it's all about who can be the most consistent. That's literally what this league is, and I think you just be in the mix. Get to next year, and then you're really gonna start seeing who's really about this title life. So yeah, no, they're not back yet, but West Ham are that rubbish. But that's a game. That's someone you'd want though. If you're having one of the worst runs ever, West Ham is the type of team you want.
Yeah, Cyril, we'll bring you in here now. I'm looking at the fixtures that Liverpool have. Okay, so they've game week 14. They've got Sunderland. Then they've got Leeds away. They've got Sunderland at home. Then they've got Leeds away, Brighton at home, Tottenham away, Wolves at home, Leeds again at home, Fulham away. And then they face Arsenal, game week 21, away from home without Salah. Now, when you look at football, is never just played on paper. But when you look at the games that they have here, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games before they come to us. There's a very real possibility that Liverpool could string together maybe 4, 5 wins. In your opinion, are they back, or is it too early to say, or is it just West Ham being that much of a pathetic team this season?
I think West Ham for sure. I've watched them for some. I think I watched the game against Leeds this season, but yeah, West Ham for sure. But here's the thing, as I've said, and I'll keep on saying, when you have 1 or 2 players in the team that have won something and know how to win something, eventually people just need to just go on a run and a few good games, where builds confidence, boost the pattern of play, or then a team can go on a run. It's not like, and again, this is why I think sometimes I just watch what pundits say, watch what fans say, and I just look past all of that and just think, you know what? Football is football. Liverpool can beat anyone on their day. Let's not forget that. They might not have been performing or whatever else, but they can beat anyone on their day. So when they can beat anyone on their day, let's remember that, and let's know that they could go on a serious run. But same could, same as City. And obviously, I keep on bringing back to City, and eventually, people are like, "Oh yeah, it's not the same City or whatever else." But you still have to understand it's the same manager, and he always finds a way to be able to put his players together somehow, some way, or whatever, right? And yes, most of the teams which are, and that's the one thing I think the point that Conley made, which is probably the most valid point. The only reason why there isn't a team that's performing that's closer to you is just because of the lack of inconsistency in some of the games. If some of those teams had a bit more better consistency, there would be a better
table.
Yeah, the table would look very different, and it wouldn't be as much of a gap as it is. And that's the reason why, because I always say it's not one in November, it's not one in this time of the year. We now have to look into the new year. So, and again, in the new year, we don't know what could happen with Liverpool. If they bring anyone in, they change something, within their midfield, they figure something out that whatever they think that they need, they go out there and get that in January if possible. And then they go on a much better run. And the same thing, and again, obviously without Salah, and when you said they face you guys or whatever, I'm like, actually, that doesn't really matter because they've got Ishak. You've got to remember that, and eventually, I don't think he's. I don't know. I've been watching how he's been playing in this Liverpool team. I'm just like, I think he's still trying to get his
find his feet.
Yeah, because it just doesn't look like that's one game I was looking at where he was playing. And I'm like, he's playing like he shouldn't be there. It should be obviously it was more like a number 10 as opposed to being further up and stuff. And I'm just like, it didn't make sense. But again, as I said, Liverpool will figure it out. And this is still the same team that won last season. Yes, some key people have moved out, but eventually that will be sorted out.
Okay. No, I mean, I don't think they're back. It's West Ham, We'll see. They've got the fixtures to do it. They do have the fixtures to do it. So we'll see where they are when they come to face us in January without Salah. But we'll end the show there. So coming up, it's another round of fixtures actually this time in midweek. So we've got the big game tomorrow, the biggest game tomorrow. You've got Fulham at home to City, and then you've got Newcastle playing Tottenham at home. And the next day, you've got fixtures like Arsenal at home to Brentford. You've got Liverpool at home to Sunderland. That should be a good game. You've got Brighton, Aston Villa. That would be another good game. And then on this Thursday, you've got Man United at home to West Ham. So that will be interesting if United fail to get a result, 3 points from that game. But we'll see. And then the fixtures keep coming in thick and fast because at the weekend, Saturday, we've got Arsenal away to Aston Villa. We've got Bournemouth at home to Chelsea. We've got Liverpool away at Leeds. That should be a good one. And that's on a Saturday. And then on a Sunday, we've got, it's just Fulham and Crystal Palace, Brighton versus West Ham. And on a Monday, we've got Wolves at home to United. Do you know what? United should be picking up 2 wins. I know it's just
West Ham and Wolves.
Yeah, West Ham and Wolves. Come on, that's United should.
If you can't be confident in beating them 2 teams, bloody hell.
Yeah,
I'm not saying about
United should be picking up 2 wins.
I'm not saying about being confident. I'm just saying, don't say nothing. We're not. We're just here. We're just happy to.
We're happy to be here. I'm not even talking about title talk. I'm just about winning a game of football. If you can't look at them 2 fixtures and think that's 6 out of 6.
Yeah, for sure. No, if that's what I'm talking about, yeah. But I don't bring us into no race, no nothing. We're not involved.
You ain't in no race as much as David is trying to pull you in. You like
no. Hold on. There's 9 points between us. Okay, they have 2 easy fixtures coming up that they should get 6 points out of. We're at home to Brentford, who have beaten Liverpool, same as everybody else has this season. And then we're away at Aston Villa, who did do a number on City. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's a difficult Premier League season. United should be looking at 2 wins from the next 2 games, and who knows what the table is going to look like at that point. I'm not writing United out of any title race just yet.
Well, I'm not bothered about title race. I'm bothered about.
You should be bothered by a title race because you're in it.
I'm not bothered by a title race because I don't want to be put into a title race. I want to just be making sure that we're in Europe somehow. So as long as we get to Europe somehow, that's all that matters to me. I think we'll this coming summertime, we'll definitely get rid of more players and bring in some better quality. And I think then we can start talking about something maybe next season. But this season, just positives, win the game and keep it moving.
Fair enough. On that note, we'll end the show there, gents. Thank you for joining me. By the time we reconvene next week, we will have the results of these next 2 games, and I'm pretty certain it's going to be an interesting chat. So, on that note, guys, thank you for joining me. To you viewers out there, thank you for watching. If you've stayed for this long, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, all that YouTube goodness, and we'll see you on the next Over the Line show.
Peace.
To there.